What's up, guys? Justin here. I'm sitting in traffic, and so don't worry, I have my screen blacked out, so I'm not paying attention to it. I'm talking to the camera as if you were right next to me and having this conversation. Let's say you wanted to know some common questions that you have, and I asked this on my Facebook, and we got some feedback, and I'm going to answer these questions that we have. So first question we have is, what is my average spend and average return on units? Now, this is kind of a hard answer or a question to answer because it's going to vary so much. If I were to take the all the units I've done and with how much I average spend per unit and then how much I make per unit, I can give you an average, but that doesn't really play well when it comes down to storage units, because there's been units that I spent $10 on and made $500 or $600 on. For instance, the one video that had the infrared night or the thermal imaging camera in it was a $10 unit, and I sold that thing for like $300 or $400 by itself. Then I have other units that I've spent $400+ on, and I broke even or maybe even made a couple dollars. And so it's really going to be dependent. There's $10 units that I made, $100. There's $100 units that I've made, $500. So my personal thing, what we look for, and I'll throw up the math of all my stuff that we've done, total it out here so you guys can see that. And for the most part, we're profitable on almost every single unit, except I think we have, besides the recent ones that we haven't listed everything yet or gone through everything, I think there's 3 units that I've been negative on. And the negative side is maybe $100 or less. I know the one unit with all those black bags with all the logos on it, I only kept one box of them and I'm selling them slowly on eBay. So we're going to be negative on that unit, but a majority of it we do return a profit. Now there's some of them, like I said, that are $10 units that yield out $400 or $500. Those are kind of the unicorns. So you're going to, on most of our units, I know I've doubled them at least on probably 80+% of them. So average, what I like to spend for the most part, I like staying in the range of $250 to $500. That's kind of like my range I like being at, because it allows you to get decent units and also have a profit on it. Recently, it has been a little bit more challenging with units because I personally think it's tax season and tax turn time. I just got a unit, picked it up, and the employee over there said the same thing. He's been seeing units go for way stupid high, and he thinks it's the same thing. So we're having to spend a little bit more right now to be able to get units, but they're still yielding a profit and still making money. So hopefully those numbers kind of helped you out and broke it down for you. Now let's go on to the next question. All right, so Keith McFarland had a bunch of questions, so I'm just gonna bang them out and answer them for you guys. Some of them will be very quick, very simple, so don't worry, I'm gonna get them answered. So, assuming it's always auctions, yes. In every state that I don't know every state law, but I watch people from multiple states. I've done auctions in multiple states. Every one of them is going to be an auction format. The ones I started off with were in-person auctions, which I love in-person auctions because typically units are cheaper to do in person. Plus they cut the lock then and there and open it. There's no like going through it or seeing what, what's in it for legit auctions. And that's another question I'll answer as well in a little bit. But yeah, most of them are going to be auctions. There are abilities now with, since COVID, most auctions are online. It's very hard to find an in-person auction where I'm at. So majority of them are online now. And that can definitely be a challenge sometimes, in my opinion, because you don't know if people gone through it. You don't know. And then plus they have auctions on there that last, I've seen some come up for 7 days. Then I've seen some that are on there for 40+ days. And so it's kind of hard to deal with the online auctions because people will wait till the last second to keep bidding. And when they bid, like Storage Treasures have a soft close that if they bid within 3 minutes of the auction ending, it adds 3 more minutes to it. So you can be, and we've had this multiple times where like 5 seconds left on them where a high bid, all of a sudden someone bids and it jumps up 3 minutes, and it's like, oh my God, it's so frustrating with the online stuff. So There are some private sellers though, back to that point, that they will list their stuff in a unit for free, or not free, for them to bid on. And so there's the lien unit sales, which are people stop paying on their bill and has to be auctioned off. Private sellers, there's still auctions, but it's people who've put their stuff in and like, hey, we just want to get rid of it all. We're listing it as a wholesale, blah, blah, blah. And then there's also manager specials that I've won a few of them and done, but the manager specials are more where they have some units that aren't necessarily liened, but they left stuff behind and abandoned their unit, and they have stuff that they just been accumulating over a period of time, and they auction those off out. So those are the three. I've done two of them. I don't do private seller auctions for the most part because it's like, to me, it's just racket and trying to make money for their bids, and they'll get on there and bid their own units up with another account just to make more money. So I stay away from it. So those are the three types of auctions that we can do. So that answered a few of those questions from Keith, but a few of the other ones is how much time do you have to view the unit? Or so in person, you usually have about 2 to 5 minutes to actually like view the unit, just like Storage Wars, which is why a lot of people jump on it because they think that storage flipping is easy money, which there is good money to make in it, but it's not easy. You know, nothing that makes money, good money, is typically easy, but 3 to 5 minutes. But with Storage Treasures, it's all up to the facility as far as the quality of their pictures. And this is important because if I have a unit, like I said, most of the units have 7 to 14 days on average that they're up on auction status before people, before they get sold or the tenant settles and it gets canceled or whatever. But let's say if it's 7 days from now, you are really, it's up to the quality of the pictures and how many pictures places post. Like I've seen one blurry photo and that's all they took. Then I've seen other ones that I bid on one that they have 10 to 15 really high quality and good photos that you can kind of scan through. And then, the good thing about your phone is you can zoom in on the pictures. My Android, I can use Circle to Google Lens. And that helps a lot with stuff like shoes, maybe items in boxes, or whatever the case may be. You can really search up a lot of stuff. So yeah, it's really gonna be dependent, but online stuff, it's really dependent on the facility's quality of their photos, which is sometimes horrible and other times really good. So that's that question. How much time do you have to empty the units? You usually are gonna have 48 to 72 hours. So when you win a unit, from the time that the auction is over, you have 48 to 72 hours to empty it. If it's a larger unit, and again, a lot of the facility managers are cool. That if you actually talk to them, say, hey, look, it's going to take me 4 or 5 days to actually clear it out. Is that cool? And a lot of times they're like, yeah, it's fine if it's a big unit. If it's a little 5x5 and you're like, hey, it's going to take me 5 days to clean it out, they're going to probably tell you, no, you got the 48 hours to get it done. So again, it's going to be facility dependent. The other thing that people don't talk about are cleaning deposits. That for most facilities, except for public storage has a no cleaning deposit. But if you don't clean out the unit and you leave trash in there, you just get banned from buying stuff on Storage Treasures. It works out, but most cleaning deposits, like the one I just got for this one, are $100. Most time you have to pay in cash. Public Storage does cash and card. Extra Space Storage is cash, and that's for the unit total and the cleaning deposit. So you just have to be aware when you're bidding, especially on Storage Treasures or any other auction site. You have to be aware what the cleaning fee is, as well as how they want to accept payment. I've won units at other facilities that are unmanned facilities that they require cleaning deposit and the unit payment on a card. So sometimes it can be absolutely, blind if you're not paying attention to how they're going to actually, get those payments and stuff. So that's just a few things that you need to be aware of when it comes down to the time, the cleaning, as well as the deposits. The last question was from Brad, and he asked if companies go through and get the good stuff first. Now, I've actually had real life stories where in the in-person auction, it was a scam. So I'll give you a quick example of that and then answer the question for today's auctions. So when I was going to in-person auctions when I was stationed in Utah, We went to one, and a few units, they cut the lock, popped them open, the typical thing. Well, on the last unit, the lock was popped, the door was already up, right? And then there was a person, like one of the facility managers, who was auctioning them off. And so a lot of places have to have an official auctioneer, but some facilities, they don't do that. And they just have like the manager of the facility who just stands there like $10, $20 over here, stuff like that. But so when we're there, we had one of the people was going in and out of the unit that was there, and he was pulling like PlayStation out of the box. Like, this is 2012, so it's been 12 plus years, so you got to think like this is really a PlayStation 1 pretty much. But they're pulling stuff out, like high value stuff. And then there was a girl, two girls, that as soon as anyone would bid, they would bid. And then when they bid up to a point of like a high enough dollar amount, I think it's like 250, something like that, because people were already kind of like weirded out by how they were doing it. When she would bid, they would never end the auction on her. They would keep on dragging it out until someone else bid, and finally they dropped it off on someone. So my thought process is definitely a unit that they had already gone through, or they're staging a unit and they're placing a bidder in there just to drive up the sales. So that is definitely something that I've seen. Now, when it comes to units now, do they go through in the beginning? I don't know. I'm going to be honest, there's probably places that do go through it. They go through real quick, kind of see if they got anything they can take or something of value. I'm sure there's some shady ass people who do that. Then they take the pictures and post it. Another video that I've recently done where it was a $10 unit, I bid on it because I knew I can just make a quick bucks, and it was, in the same town our rage room is. The pictures from that, what they put up to what the unit actually looked like when I opened the door, were completely different. And if you guys want to check that video out, it's this one up here. But yeah, it was completely different. It was an unmanned facility. There was no lock on the door, so it was gone through. So most of the times, and I only had to have it once, but they refunded my clean deposit, refunded my money back, because I showed them the beginning pictures and the pictures when I popped the actual lock. So they made it right, minus my time and gas and everything, but for the most part, I don't know if people go through at the beginning. I assume people do, but then I've also found stuff and, found units and had units that nothing, like there was some really valuable stuff that was ended up found right in the front. So assume that people do. That's why I never bid on boxes only. This unit here was kind of I'm going to go after because I saw some shoes that were out of the box that I thought, could make us a little money, which they will. But you have to be extremely careful with boxes, and don't always assume that it's what it says in there. If there's a TV box, I swear to God, everyone who's never done this before jumps on it. It's like, oh, I'm gonna get that TV, and I'm like, bro, it's $400 brand new, and you're spending $800 on a unit that has a TV box in it. So it's it just boggles my mind sometimes. So that's just some things you have to be careful of whenever it comes down to bidding on units. All right, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I'm still in Atlanta traffic, believe it or not. But if you guys have any questions, drop them in this video comments below. Simple questions, in-depth questions, I'll answer every single one of them to the best of my ability. So anyways, guys, look out for the next couple units coming up. We got some on the board for tomorrow that we're going to be working on winning. So anyways, guys, we will see you on the next one.